Look at this beautiful dessert that I've plated up so pretty. So this is called Truffle Mousse. It is like a cross between the texture of a truffle, which is dense and chocolatey, and a little bit of lightness like a mousse. And I've made some hand whipped cream. I shaved some chocolate on and I put a cherry on there. It's a small serving, but trust me, it's enough. So I get to go in here. It's one of my favorite desserts. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna get a little whipped cream, a little bit of chocolate. Look at that. Look at that. That's so beautiful. Okay, here we go. Waiting all day for this. Here we go. Oh my God. Oh man. I make this every year for Valentine's Day, and because it never disappoints. This is such a good dessert, and it's crazy easy, as you're gonna see, but people will think you are a pastry chef when you present them with this. So let me show you how it's done. Okay, so let me tell you what goes into this delicious truffle mousse. Not a whole lot of things. First of all, you're going to need heavy whipping cream. It's gotta say the 3 words, heavy whipping cream. Okay, it's going to be in a bottle, or it's going to be in like a milk carton type of thing, or orange juice carton kind of thing. It's got to say heavy whipping cream. If it just says whipping cream, not good enough. It's got to say heavy whipping cream. You're also going to need some chocolate. Now let me talk to you a little bit about that. Here's what I like to use. I like to use Hershey's Special Dark. And if you get your hands on this size bar is 4.25 ounces, and you're going to need 4 ounces of chocolate for this recipe. So this is like the perfect size bar. Hershey's Special Dark. Special Dark is basically semi-sweet chocolate. Okay, it's not terribly dark, but it's not milk chocolate either. You could also use bittersweet chocolate. This is Valrhona bittersweet chocolate. So this is much darker, much more bitter than the Special Dark. I've been making this recipe for years, and for years I've used Hershey's Special Dark, and it comes out great. But you could use other kinds of chocolate. What I wouldn't use is milk chocolate, like a candy bar kind of chocolate, and I haven't tried this with chocolate chips, semi-sweet chocolate chips. I don't know if it would work or not, I'll be honest with you. I've always used the Hershey's Special Dark, and that's always been great. You need 4 ounces of that. You're also going to need some sugar. Another good ingredient is espresso powder or instant coffee powder. That's what this is, if you can get in close on that. This is espresso powder, which means you open it up. Okay, it's powder, obviously. This dissolves in water, okay? That's what instant means. It means it dissolves in water. If you don't have instant espresso powder, but you had instant coffee powder, that would work too. But do not use coffee grounds that don't dissolve, like this in a little K-cup thing. Nope, this will not work. And if you leave it out, that's fine too, okay? It just makes the chocolate flavor a little bit better to have a tiny, tiny bit of coffee flavor in there too. Okay, you're also gonna need some vanilla. This is vanilla, I promise, but any kind works, vanilla, and a little bit of salt as well. As for equipment, you're gonna need a blender. Okay, you'll need a blender, you'll need a small saucepan, and some kind of pretty cups to put your dessert in. This makes 4 to 6 servings. Don't make the servings giant because this is very, very rich. But one of the best things about this recipe is it tastes a lot more complicated than it takes to make. It's one of those tricky little sneaky desserts that people are impressed by, but they're actually quite easy. And we do not need any oven for this. We need the stovetop, but this is super simple. Let me show you how it's done. Okay, so what I've done is I put 1 cup of that heavy whipping cream in here. Take a look at here. 1 cup of the heavy whipping cream. And I'm gonna put this over like medium heat. You don't want it too high. But what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna bring this to a very slight boil, okay? And we'll come back so you can see what that looks like, but when it just starts to boil. It needs to be hot enough, but if you let it boil, it'll be too hot and things won't quite go right. So I'm gonna let this come to the boil. while I do something else that I'll show you in a moment. Okay, so the cream is coming to a boil, and in the meantime, I have my blender here, and what's in the blender now is 3 tablespoons of sugar and a ½ teaspoon of that espresso powder. And again, if you don't have instant coffee powder or instant espresso powder, just leave it out. Okay, so here's the chocolate bar, the 4 ounces of chocolate bar that I have. And what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna break it up just with my hands like this. You don't need to get a cutting board out to do this. You can easily do this by hand, just like that. Now, you have to discipline yourself not to eat this as you're doing it. Because if you eat the chocolate, then what you come out with isn't gonna be nice and dense. A truffle, if you've ever had a truffle before, it's like a wonderful ball of just the richest chocolate ever. And this is like that. Chocolate mousse is usually kind of light and airy, but this mousse is like a truffle. It's dark and it's dense. There you go. You should have something that looks like that. The broken up chocolate, the sugar, and the espresso powder. We'll come back and we'll see how our cream is doing. Okay, so take a look at what we got going on with the cream. You see how there's bubbles on the side there? That's boiling, but it's not crazy boiling. That's what we want. Okay, when I shake it, it kind of dies down a little bit, but now it's coming back. That's what you're after there. You don't want crazy boiling there. But you do want to see some bubbles coming up there to indicate that it definitely is boiling. So I'm going to turn this off, then I'm going to show you how to finish this off. Okay, so we have the chocolate, the sugar, and the espresso powder in here. We have the cream that just got to a boil. We're going to pour that hot, I'll try to do it this way, cream in there so you can see it going in. All right, now I'm going to turn the blender on to blend it all up. Okay, just on low is fine. I'm going to have it go for maybe 20 seconds, something like that. That seems good, so I'm going to stop it. All right, I'm going to let you take a nice look inside there. Kind of looks like hot chocolate right now, okay? But I still have 2 ingredients. It smells really good too. I have 2 ingredients to add to it. I have my teaspoon of vanilla, full teaspoon of vanilla. If you're holding it over here, do it carefully so you don't spill, but get a whole full teaspoon of vanilla in there, okay? And my 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Now you might wonder, why is there salt in a dessert recipe? What is salt doing in there? I'll just measure it over here. Because salt brings out the really good chocolate flavor out of chocolate. Just a 1/4 teaspoon here. And then I'm going to continue blending it just for maybe 5 more seconds. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. There we go. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to put it into the little cups. Okay, so our mixture is all done. And I'm going to pour it into 4 of these containers. Here I've got the glass ones. These are the pretty ones, the kind of show-offy ones. These are the plainer ones. It doesn't really matter what you put them into because they're just going to go in the fridge after this. And I would recommend you keep these in the fridge. I do overnight, okay? I just do overnight. That way you know they're going to firm up. So just watch how I do this. I'm just going to pour some in here. I'm not going to go to the top. I'm going to hesitate there because I want this all to be good for all of these. Now you'll notice these are pretty small servings, and like I said, that's because this is very rich. This is not like a little airy, fluffy thing. This is going to have some presence to it. I think I'm just going to finish those off, just like that, just like that. There you go. Okay, so these are going to go into the fridge, and as you did see before, They come out beautiful, and you put some whipped cream on them and maybe some fruit, and these are so, 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 so good. I hope you try it at home. All right, so it has been overnight, and this is what the truffle mousse looks like now, one of the dishes. And let me show you something. Not going anywhere. It solidifies, which is perfect. And I know that serving doesn't look very big, and it's not, because this is very rich, very rich. So all you need to do is, like you saw at the beginning, put some whipped cream on it, maybe shave some chocolate on it, or some kind of sprinkles or nuts, or even a maraschino cherry, and it will be beautiful. What a dessert this is, and I hope you try this at home.